Good morning, everyone. This is Father Nate, missionary priest in Italy, and thanks for joining us today, January 14th, on No Greater Delight, our podcast on Marian feasts and Marian meditations. Well, today we're struck by a very interesting set of feasts. In Sevilla, in Spain, they celebrate La Divina Pastora de las Almas, right? So that's like the divine shepherdess of souls. And likewise, in Venezuela, they also celebrate La Divina Pastora. That's in Santa Rosa, Lara, in Barquisimeto Cathedral. So there's not a whole lot on the devotion in Spain, but in Venezuela, we know that around 1736, the pastor of Santa Rosa Catholic Church in the town of the same name, Santa Rosa, in central Venezuela, had ordered a statue of the Immaculate Conception. However, what he got instead was a Holy Shepherdess statue, ordered by the pastor of a church in nearby Barquisimeto. He immediately tried to send the statue to its rightful destination, but all of a sudden it became so heavy that nobody could move it. And so Santa Rosa kept the Divina Pastora, who is now the patroness of the state of Lara. On January 14th, 1855, the statue was carried in procession during a cholera epidemic, and that epidemic ended that very same day. Since then, every January 14th, a team of men carried the statues of the Holy Shepherdess, the child Jesus, and sheep in a large processional shrine from the Basilica, in a large processional group probably, from the Basilica in Santa Rosa to the Barquisimeto Cathedral, accompanied usually by millions of pilgrims, some barefoot. Likewise, today we celebrate the inauguration of the church in 1945 of Nostra Signora di Fatima in Florianópolis in Santa Catarina, Brazil. Likewise, we also celebrate Nuestra Señora de la Palabra, which is like Our Lady of Speech or of the Word, near Montserrat in Spain. It's called this because it's told that she restored speech to a dumb man in the year 1514. So the man couldn't speak, and miraculously, through the intercession of Our Lady, he was able to speak again. And lastly, on the Isola Tiberina in Rome, we celebrate the Madonna della Lampada, Our Lady of the Lamp, right? So what is this? Well, it's a fresco from the 13th century, which is found in a little niche. Well, in 1557, on January 14th of that day, there was like an incredible rain, right? And so the image actually remained underwater for several days. You think like, well, it's a fresco, like that's going to destroy it. Oh no, on the contrary. When the image was reappeared, like unsubmerged, if you will, it was more clear and like fresher than before. And the oil lamp, which always burned in front of it, it was even was still lit, right? Still burning. So that's what we celebrate today, January 14th, in the Marian world. So for today's Marian meditation, taken from the book Marian Meditations by Father Ildefonso Villar, we continue with Meditation 28, which is on the Annunciation of Mary, her feast. Yesterday we heard the meditation on the embassy, the message from God brought by the angel, and now we consider the salutation of the angel. Consider in this salutation not only the praise he offers Mary, but also the glorious truths he recalls to her mind. He calls her full of grace, tells her that God is with her, and adds that she is the most blessed among women. Thus does the angel prepare Mary to correspond to these favors from God, and to give her consent to his message, and thus not hinder the plans of God. So it is that God often speaks to us. Very often and in many ways, and especially with his internal light, he whispers into our hearts and reminds us of the graces he has bestowed on us. Hence the obligation we have to correspond to and to cooperate with him. He encourages us with the hope of the wealth of grace and glory that we can gain through our correspondence. But we, so wretched, what do? How do we receive these inspirations from God? And if perchance on some rare occasion we feel inspired to work on our own satisfaction with fervor and enthusiasm, is it not true that oftener than not we pay no heed to such prompting? And we keep on wasting our time by disregarding those whisperings of grace, thus deafening our ears to the advances of God. So for today's reading from the Admirable Heart of Mary, we continue with Chapter 5, Mary's Heart, the Fiery Furnace of Babylon, wherein St. John Eudes compares the fiery furnace of Babylon, into which were thrown Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, with the heart of Mary. Yesterday he spoke about how the wind was like a great, inside the fire, it seemed like it brought dew, right? That's Daniel chapter 3, verse 50. And now he's going to draw this comparison between the fire and the water that are together. It is a great miracle to witness fire and water subsisting side by side in the furnace of Nebuchadnezzar. The fire did not turn the cooling water into steam, nor did the water quench the burning heat of the fire. What manner of fire is this? It is the fire of divine love burning in the virginal heart of Mary. What does the cooling do? It is the water of tribulation, which so often flooded the holy heart of the Mother of Sorrows. The fire of love did not dry up the waters of affliction, and the waters of tribulation were unable, I say, not to extinguish, but even to diminish in the least degree the divine ardor of that heavenly fire. Many waters cannot quench charity. That's from Song of Songs 8:7. On the contrary, the excess of love produces the abundance of affliction, and the waters of tribulation were like the inflammable liquids that augmented still further the fire of her love. Is it not a great miracle to see a fire possessing at once the virtue of fire and the properties of water? Love has the virtue of fire, that it may unceasingly inflame the Virgin Mother's purest heart with its sacred ardor, and also the properties of water, as it extinguishes entirely the fire of self-love and of attachment to vain and perishable things. Is it not a great miracle to behold a fire refreshing, consoling, and filling with joy the children of the Mother of God, while it pursues, burns, and devours its enemies? Her virginal heart, which is ablaze with love for her true children, directs the fire and flame of its anger against those who injure or scandalize her loved ones. Only 3 Hebrew boys were thrown into the furnace of Babylon, but all the children of the admirable Mother of God can enter the furnace of her heart, and dwell there as in a paradise of delights, where they praise and glorify God forever in company with their Heavenly Mother, and their hearts are filled with joy and consolation. The dwelling in thee is, as it were, of all rejoicing. It's from Psalm 86, verse 7. O Holy Mother of God.
Hello, and we hope that you enjoyed listening to our Marian podcast. In the spirit of Saint Bernard of Clairvaux, we say to you that there is no greater delight than to spread the devotion of Our Lady. We hope you share these sentiments and encourage you greatly to share with a loved one. Know that you are always in our prayers, and we ask that you keep us in yours. God bless.